Listen carefully. Something is shifting in your life right now, and you can feel it, even if you cannot explain it. There is a strange peace underneath the pain, a quiet knowing underneath the confusion, a whisper underneath the silence. And that whisper is not random. That whisper is God. If you are watching this video right now, it is not by accident. You did not stumble onto this by chance. Something greater than algorithms brought you here. Something greater than curiosity kept you watching. Hear this clearly. You were led here. You were called here. Because a life-changing surprise is closer than you think. Closer than your bank account says. Closer than your relationships suggest. Closer than your tired body and your exhausted mind believe possible. Closer than the loneliness that has been sitting on your chest at 3 a.m. when everyone else is asleep and you are wide awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if God even remembers your name. He does. He never forgot you. Not for 1 second. Not during the nights you cried until you had no tears left. Not during the days you smiled at people while your soul was breaking in silence. Not during the seasons when everyone else seemed to be moving forward while you stayed still, stuck, waiting, wondering what was wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not stuck. You are being prepared. There is a difference between being stuck and being sharpened. A sword is not stuck in the fire, it is being forged. A seed is not stuck in the dark soil, it is being formed. And you, chosen one, are not stuck in this season. You are being formed into something the enemy is terrified of. That is why it has been so hard. That is why it has felt so lonely. That is why the people who used to be by your side are no longer there. God is saying, I removed them on purpose. Not to punish you. To protect what I am building in you. Some of you lost friendships this year that you do not fully understand. Some of you lost relationships that shattered you in ways you have never told anyone. Some of you lost jobs, lost stability, lost the version of life you thought you were supposed to have. And in the middle of all that loss, a question has been echoing inside your spirit. Why me? Why does everything keep falling apart? Hear this clearly. It is not falling apart. It is falling into place. You are not being punished. You are being separated, set apart, made holy for a purpose the enemy cannot stop, no matter how hard he tries. Because chosen ones are never comfortable. Chosen ones are never surrounded by people who understand them. Chosen ones walk a road that looks like isolation from the outside, but is actually protection from the inside. God is not punishing you by removing people. He is protecting the assignment on your life by clearing the distractions around it. This is your sign. This video is your sign. If you have been asking God for a sign that you have not been forgotten, that your prayers have not been wasted, that your tears have not fallen for nothing, this is it. Write it down. Remember this moment. Because everything is about to change. Now listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you is not just motivation. It is a message. It is a prophetic word for anyone who has ears to hear it. And by the end of this, you will understand exactly why your pain had a purpose, why your silence had a sound, and why your surprise is closer than you think. This is the story of the chosen one. There was a season in your life, chosen one, when everything felt like it was falling apart. You remember it? Maybe you are living in it right now. The job that did not work out. The relationship that ended without warning. The friend who disappeared without explanation. The dream that seemed to die right in front of your eyes. And in the middle of all of that collapse, you asked the same question every chosen one has asked before you. God, where are you? He was there. He was there in the silence you mistook for absence. He was there in the waiting you mistook for rejection. He was there in the closed doors you mistook for punishment. Hear this clearly. Silence is not absence. Silence is preparation. When God goes quiet, He is not gone. He is working behind the scenes, on things you cannot see yet, in timing you cannot rush, for a purpose you cannot fully understand until you are standing on the other side of it, looking back, finally seeing why it all had to happen exactly the way it did. This is divine timing, and divine timing does not care about your deadlines. It does not care about your impatience. It does not care about the pressure you feel from watching everyone else's life move forward while yours seems frozen in place. Divine timing only cares about one thing: preparing you for what you asked for, so that when it finally arrives you are ready to carry it, ready to hold it, ready to steward it without it destroying you. Because here is a truth no one tells you. Some blessings would have broken you if they had come too soon. Some doors would have crushed you if they had opened before you were ready to walk through them. Some people would have taken advantage of you if you had met them before you learned your worth. God is saying, I was not being cruel by making you wait. I was being merciful. Think about everything you have been through. The betrayal that cut so deep you thought you would never trust again. The heartbreak that left you sitting on your bathroom floor at midnight, wondering how you would survive the pain. The friendships that turned out to be fake, the smiles that were hiding jealousy, the support that was really just surveillance, watching you fail, waiting for you to fall so they could feel better about themselves. Hear this clearly. That was spiritual warfare. You were not just losing people, you were being delivered from people. Some of them were never sent to help you rise. Some of them were sent to keep you small, to keep you doubting yourself, to keep you tied to a version of your life that God was trying to release you from. And when they left, or when God removed them, it did not feel like freedom. It felt like abandonment. But listen closely. What felt like abandonment was actually liberation. You cannot fly with people pulling you down. You cannot rise with hands clinging to your ankles. You cannot walk into your purpose while carrying the weight of relationships that were never meant to go where you are going. So God did what a loving father does. He pruned the branches that were draining the tree so that the tree could finally produce the fruit it was always capable of producing. This is why you feel alone right now. Not because something is wrong with you. Not because you are unworthy of love and connection. But because you are in a season of separation. And separation always precedes elevation. Every chosen one in history has walked through this same valley, the ones who changed nations, the ones who changed history, the ones whose names are still spoken with reverence today. Every single one of them walked through a season of profound loneliness before they walked into their purpose. Loneliness is not always punishment. Sometimes loneliness is protection. Sometimes God isolates you not because He is angry with you, but because He is preparing you, and preparation requires quiet. It requires distance from noise. It requires separation from the voices that would talk you out of your calling before you even had the chance to walk into it. So if you are lonely right now, chosen one, do not curse the silence. Do not curse the isolation. Do not curse the empty room, the quiet phone, the friendships that faded, the community that disappeared. Instead, ask yourself this question. What is God building in me while no one is watching? Because that is exactly what is happening. While you feel forgotten, He is forming you. While you feel invisible, He is refining you. While you feel like nothing is happening, everything is happening, deep beneath the surface, where roots grow before anyone ever sees the tree. God is saying, I am not done with you. I am not finished forming what I started. The pain you are feeling right now is not evidence that I have abandoned you. It is evidence that I am working on something too important to rush. Think about the wounds you carry, the ones nobody sees, the ones you smile through every single day while your heart is quietly breaking underneath the surface. The betrayal from someone you trusted completely, someone who knew your secrets and used them against you when you least expected it. The heartbreak from a love that felt like it was written in the stars, only to end in devastation that left you questioning if you would ever trust your own heart again. Hear this clearly. Those wounds are not wasted. Every tear you have cried has been counted. Every sleepless night has been recorded. Every moment you sat in silence, wondering if anyone truly saw your pain. God saw it. He was not distant during your suffering. He was closer than your own breath, closer than your own heartbeat, holding you together in ways you could not even feel at the time. And here is the truth that will change how you see every wound you carry. Your pain is not disqualifying you from your purpose. Your pain is qualifying you for it. The people who will need you most in the future are the people who are walking through exactly what you have already survived. Your breakthrough is not just for you. It was never just for you. It is for every person who will one day look at your life and say, if they made it through that, maybe I can make it through this too. This is why the enemy fought so hard to keep you stuck in your pain. Not because your pain mattered to him, but because your breakthrough terrified him. He knew that if you healed, if you rose, if you stepped into who you were created to be, you would become a threat to everything he was trying to keep in darkness. That is why the attacks intensified right when you started trying to change. That is why the doubts got louder right when you started praying harder. That is why the discouragement hit right when you were closest to your breakthrough. This is spiritual warfare, and it is real, and it has been raging around your life in ways you may not have fully understood until this very moment. But hear this clearly. The intensity of the attack is proof of the size of your calling. The enemy does not waste ammunition on someone who is not a threat to his kingdom. If your life has felt like a battlefield, it is because your purpose is a weapon he is desperate to disarm. So stand still for a moment and let this sink in. Every closed door was redirection, not rejection. Every person who walked away was subtraction for the sake of addition. Every tear you cried was seed being planted in soil you could not see, growing roots you could not measure, preparing a harvest you have not even imagined yet. God is saying, I have not forgotten the promise I placed in your heart. I have not forgotten the dream I gave you before the world told you it was impossible. I have not forgotten the whisper I placed in your spirit when you were a child, the whisper that told you that you were made for something more, something greater, something the world has not seen yet. That whisper was not your imagination. That whisper was your calling. And chosen one, hear this clearly. The calling does not disappear just because the timing has not arrived yet. It does not fade just because the road has been longer than you expected. It does not die just because the season has been harder than you thought you could survive. It is still there, buried beneath the pain, waiting for the moment when you finally stop running from it and start walking toward it. This is your moment. This is your sign. This is the reminder you needed to hear today, delivered exactly when you needed to hear it, because nothing about this is a coincidence. You were meant to hear these words. You were meant to feel this shift happening inside your spirit right now, because a life-changing surprise is closer than you think, closer than the doubt whispering in your mind, closer than the fear telling you it is too late, closer than the exhaustion telling you to give up. It is closer than you have ever imagined, waiting just beyond the veil of your current circumstances, ready to break through the moment you stop trying to control the timing and start trusting the one who holds it. Let us talk about the fake people for a moment, because you need to hear this. You need to understand why they left, why they turned, why they suddenly grew cold toward you the moment you started chasing your purpose. Hear this clearly. Not everyone who claps for you at the beginning is meant to walk with you to the end. Some people are only assigned to a season, and when that season ends, God will remove them, sometimes gently, sometimes painfully, but always purposefully. You have wondered what you did wrong. You have replayed conversations in your mind, searching for the moment you offended someone, the moment you said too much, the moment you became too much for them to handle. Hear this clearly. You did nothing wrong. You simply outgrew an assignment that was never meant to last forever. Some people were sent to teach you a lesson, not to stay for a lifetime. Some people were sent to reveal your strength, not to witness your victory. And some people left because your calling exposed something in them they were not ready to face. God removes fake people the way a gardener removes weeds, not out of cruelty, but out of love for what he is trying to grow. A weed does not always look like a weed at first. Sometimes it looks like a friend. Sometimes it looks like family. Sometimes it looks like the person you thought you would spend the rest of your life with. But if it drains your roots instead of feeding them, if it competes with your purpose instead of nourishing it, God will remove it, even if it breaks your heart in the process. This is a prophetic warning, chosen one. Do not chase after what God has already released. Do not beg someone to stay who has already served their purpose in your story. Do not water a relationship that was only ever meant to be a season. Let it go. Grieve it if you must, cry over it if you need to, but do not fight to keep something alive that heaven has already declared finished. Because on the other side of that release is a table prepared for you, a table filled with people who will not leave when the pressure rises, people who will not disappear the moment your calling gets heavy, people who were handpicked by God to walk beside you in the very next season of your life. You have not lost your community. You have simply not met them yet. This is only the beginning of what God wants to reveal to you today, so take a breath. Sit with what you have just heard. Let it settle into the deepest part of your spirit, because what comes next will show you exactly how to recognize the signs God has already been sending you, and exactly how to prepare for the transformation that is about to change everything. Hear this clearly, chosen one. You are standing on the edge of something sacred, and what you are about to hear next was written for this exact moment in your life. Let us continue. Now hear this clearly, because this is where everything begins to make sense. There have been signs. You have felt them. You have seen them. Maybe you brushed them off as coincidence, but deep down you knew they were something more. The number you keep seeing on the clock. The song that plays at the exact moment you needed to hear it. The stranger who said something that felt like it was spoken directly from heaven into your soul. The dream that felt too real to be random. The sudden peace that washed over you in the middle of chaos, a peace that made no logical sense given your circumstances. These are not coincidences. These are signs. God has been speaking to you the entire time, in ways you were too distracted, too broken, or too doubtful to fully recognize. But He never stopped. He has been whispering through the ordinary moments of your life, trying to get your attention, trying to remind you that you are not walking this path alone. Hear this clearly. God is not silent. You have just been listening for a voice instead of watching for a pattern. His language is not always words. Sometimes His language is timing. Sometimes His language is people who show up at exactly the right moment. Sometimes His language is doors that close so firmly you cannot force them open, no matter how hard you try, because He is redirecting you towards something you cannot yet see. Think back over the last few months of your life. Think about the moments that felt strange, unexplainable, almost too perfectly timed to be random. Those were not random. Those were divine appointments, woven into your life by a God who has never once taken His eyes off you, even when you felt completely invisible to the rest of the world. This is what it means to be spiritually awakened. It means your eyes begin to open to what was always there. It means you stop dismissing the whispers and start recognizing them for what they truly are. It means you finally understand that your life has never been ordinary. It has always been sacred, even in the seasons that felt the most broken. And chosen one, hear this clearly. Your awakening is not comfortable. It was never meant to be comfortable. When your eyes open to the spiritual reality around you, the physical world starts to feel different. People who once felt close now feel distant, because they are still asleep to the things you are beginning to see clearly. Conversations that used to interest you now feel empty, because your spirit is hungry for something deeper than small talk and surface-level connection. This is not you becoming difficult. This is you becoming discerning. There is a difference between arrogance and awakening. Arrogance looks down on others. Awakening simply sees further than others can see right now. And because you see further, you may feel more alone than ever, misunderstood by people who are still living in a version of reality you have already outgrown. God is saying, I am not isolating you to hurt you. I am isolating you to elevate you. I am pulling you away from the noise so you can hear my voice clearly. I am pulling you away from distractions so you can focus on the assignment I placed inside you before you were even born. Because, make no mistake, chosen one, you were assigned before you arrived. Before your first breath, before your first heartbeat, before anyone knew your name, God had already written your story. He already knew about the heartbreak you would survive. He already knew about the betrayal that would nearly break you. He already knew about the loneliness that would test your faith down to its very foundation. And knowing all of that, He still chose you. He still called you. He still placed a purpose inside you that no trial, no enemy, no season of darkness could ever fully extinguish. This is why you have survived everything you have survived. Not because you are lucky, not because you are strong on your own, but because there is a purpose on your life that the enemy cannot kill, no matter how many times he has tried to break you, distract you, or convince you to give up. Hear this clearly. You should not be here. Not because your life does not matter, but because everything you have walked through should have destroyed you. The heartbreak should have hardened you into someone bitter and cold. The betrayal should have made you incapable of trust. The loneliness should have convinced you that you are unlovable. But here you are, still standing, still watching this video, still hungry for more of God, still holding on to a flicker of faith, even when everything around you told you to let go. That flicker is not weakness. That flicker is evidence of your chosen identity, because chosen ones do not survive by accident. They survive because there is a purpose inside them that refuses to die, even when everything around them seems determined to bury it. Now let us talk about transformation, because before elevation there is always transformation. God does not promote broken versions of you into positions of purpose. He heals you first. He refines you first. He strips away the parts of you that were built out of survival, fear, and self-protection, and He replaces them with parts of you that are built out of faith, courage, and trust. This is why the season you are in has felt like stripping, like everything familiar is being peeled away, like the person you used to be no longer fits the life you are being called into. This is not loss. This is transformation. And transformation is always uncomfortable, because it requires you to release who you were in order to become who you were created to be. Think about a caterpillar. Before it becomes a butterfly, it does not simply grow wings while staying the same. It has to dissolve. It has to break down completely inside the cocoon, losing its old form entirely, before it can be rebuilt into something that can finally fly. If you looked inside a cocoon during that process, you would not see a half caterpillar, half butterfly. You would see something that looks almost like nothing at all, a formless mess breaking down before it is built back up. Chosen one, that is exactly where you are right now. You are in the cocoon. You feel formless. You feel like nothing about your old life makes sense anymore, and nothing about your new life has fully arrived yet. This in-between space is terrifying. But hear this clearly. It is also sacred. It is the exact place where transformation happens. It is the place where God does His deepest work, hidden from the eyes of the world, preparing you for a flight you cannot even imagine yet. Do not rush the cocoon. Do not despise the discomfort. Do not curse the waiting, because what is happening inside you right now cannot happen any other way. Butterflies do not emerge from comfort. They emerge from pressure, from darkness, from a season that felt like it would never end. And when you emerge, chosen one, you will not recognize the person you used to be. You will look back at old photos, old relationships, old versions of your life, and you will feel like you are looking at a completely different person. Because you will be. The breakthrough is not just going to change your circumstances, it is going to change you. Now hear this clearly, because this is the heart of everything I have been building toward. Your breakthrough is coming after your pain, not despite it. Your victory is coming after your endurance, not instead of it. The very trials you have been trying to escape, the very seasons you have been begging God to remove, are the exact things preparing you for the surprise that is closer than you think. God does not waste pain. He redeems it. He takes the very things the enemy meant to destroy you with, and he repurposes them into the foundation of your testimony. Every tear becomes a seed. Every scar becomes a story. Every season of silence becomes a season of strength that you will one day use to lift someone else out of the exact pit you climbed out of. This is why your faith during silence matters so much. Anyone can praise God when life is easy. Anyone can trust Him when the answers come quickly and the blessings arrive on schedule. But chosen ones are forged in the silence. Chosen ones learn to trust the character of God, even when they cannot see the hand of God moving. Chosen ones hold on, not because they have proof that everything will work out, but because they have faith that God is who He says He is, even in seasons when the evidence seems to say otherwise. If you have been holding on through silence, chosen one, hear this clearly. Heaven has seen every Ashi